We start with something that is helpful for you. Support today for the show comes from ZBiotics. Now, I have to tell you about this stuff. It is a game changer. It's called pre-alcohol. And look, if you've been out with friends, you had a couple of drinks, and you woke up the next morning wondering what hit you, well, this one is for you. Here's how it works. It's called ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink. It is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to break down the toxic byproduct in your gut that causes those rough mornings. It's not dehydration. It's not drinks, but it is that toxic buildup that does this. Pre-alcohol handles it before it becomes a problem. Now, I first tried it a night out with friends in New York, big dinner, lots of laugh, too many glasses of wine, et cetera, et cetera. The next morning, I had a show to tape, and I felt fantastic. So I felt clear-headed, ready to go. That's when I was sold on this. And you know, football season is here. Tailgates, game nights, you name it. So take ZBiotics before drinking and feel great the next day. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon and get 15% off of your first order with the code LEMON. They even back it with a 100% money-back guarantee. That's zbiotics.com/lemon for 15% off. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show, Lemon Live at 5. Good evening, America. Good evening, world. Thank you for joining us. What a day it's been. It's been a long day. Wait till I tell you about my day. You are not going to believe it. Obviously, we're in Washington, D.C. We're on Capitol Hill all day. I interviewed some lawmakers, saw some folks that I interviewed, just regular folks. Wait till you hear about my experience on the Piers Morgan show. What a ridiculous experience this was. I should have known better. It was, I had secondhand embarrassment for Piers. It was really, really, really bad. And we're going to show you some of the evidence. What was interesting to me is that, you know, I know Piers. I'll get into it in a little bit. I know Piers, known him for a long time. Tell you the story about how when he left or was fired, I got his team, his office, and time slot, and did quite well at it. And I knew him. We would talk before I would go to his office. We would chat. So I was like, you know, it's Piers Morgan. I know him. We'll go on a piece, whatever. I told him he's been trying to get me on, and I don't do panels and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, well, don't do a panel. We want to talk to you about Charlie Kirk and digital media. And man, that was probably a mistake. And then we're also going to talk about what is happening in Mississippi. And that is Trey Reed. The story keeps developing. Where was he found exactly? What does the autopsy show? We have new information about when the autopsy is going to be ready, and it probably won't be ready for 2 or 3 days. What are the circumstances behind his death? The authorities are saying now that it doesn't appear to be foul play. They're also saying that they think it's suicide. The parents and students, and there are a lot of skeptics who are not buying it. We're going to have a full report on that coming up. But first, I'm going to take you to Capitol Hill, and I'm going to talk to you about what played out today as it relates to Kash Patel, the FBI director, speaking out about the Epstein files, speaking out about Charlie Kirk's death, about freedom of speech. None other, and I must start with this, none other than the forever president, Barack Obama, weighed in on this Charlie Kirk story, finally. And I am so glad that he did. And guess what? He weighed in on the way that Barack Obama can weigh in on one of these stories. He says the same thing that we say, except that he says it a lot better, more articulately, like as a president should. And boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you, it is so heartening to hear a president that can actually form sentences, subject-verb agreement, correct grammar, measured, intelligent, brilliant, smart, and easy on the eyes. The exact opposite of what we have now, of someone who is bullying, does not have command of the English language, is not an orator, is just a bully. And not a good-looking one at that, a big bully. So here, ladies and gentlemen, you want to know about it. This is the kind of person, think about this. This is the kind of person that you want in charge when something like Charlie Kirk happens, the unfortunate, untimely death of Charlie Kirk. This is the kind of person that you want on your television screens, in your ears, on your and watching, who's going to tell you the right thing, who's going to be comforting and not disappointing, who's going to de-escalate rather than inflame. The forever President Barack Obama.
Obviously, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong. But that doesn't negate the fact that what happened was a tragedy and that I mourn for him and his family. He's a young man with 2 small children and a wife who obviously, and a huge number of friends and supporters who cared about him. And so we have to extend grace to people during their period of mourning and shock. We can also, at the same time, say that I disagree with the idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. That's not me politicizing the issue. It's making an observation about who are we as a country. I can say that I disagree with the suggestion that my wife or Justice Jackson does not have adequate brain processing power.
Tell him, Barack.
Tell him, Barack. I can say that I disagree that Martin Luther King was awful. I can disagree with some of the broader suggestions of that liberals and Democrats are promoting a conspiracy to displace whites and replace them.
Tell him, Barack.
By ushering in illegal immigrants. Those are all topics that we have to be able to discuss honestly and forthrightly, while we still insist that in that process of debate, we respect other people's right to say things that we profoundly disagree with. That's how we should approach it.
Donald Trump could never. No, I was just sitting there looking at, let's get into this. I was just sitting there looking at Barack. I like to call him Barack. I know he's President Obama. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But in that moment, he is so cool. You know, look, and I was mad at him for a little bit. Y'all know when he was kikiing with Donald Trump at the thing. But, you know, he's a better man than I am. He's classy. I can be petty. So Barack was just sitting there cool as a cucumber in the suit. The fit was fitting. He didn't take up the whole damn chair with his big stupid tie dragging on the floor over his belly and in an ill-fitting suit. The suit fit. The shirt looked good. It was, you know what I'm saying? He sounded good. He's got the salt and pepper. He's a silver fox right now. Don't get me wrong. Michelle, don't get the wrong idea. It's nothing like that. I'm just, look, come on now. I believe in giving people their flowers when they deserve it. Barack looks good and happy and free and living his best life right now. And I don't think he's a billionaire, but he is a man, a president who can actually afford a nice suit, one that can fit him. His ankles ain't all swollen up. His hands aren't a couple different colors. Putting makeup, he's not orange. Doesn't have to put on bronzer. Look, am I being petty? Yes, but I'm telling the truth. Barack is seasoned, swag, suave, debonair, intelligent, not just intelligent, brilliant, Ivy League educated, and his wife, mwah, perfection. They complement each other. Talk about a power couple. I have never seen her swat his hand away. I've only seen loving kisses and embraces. Y'all go on, Barack and Michelle. Come on now. Let's tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Barack Obama weighing in again, I believe. Here we go. Look at him, look at him, look at him. Legs crossed, chill.
And so when I hear not just our current president, but his aides, who have a history of calling political opponents vermin.
Tell it, Barack.
Enemies.
Tell it.
Who need to be targeted.
They're going to attack him for this. Who cares, though? We got his back.
Speaks to a broader problem that we have right now. And something that we're going to have to grapple with, all of us, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, independents. We have to recognize that on both sides, undoubtedly there are people who are extremists and who say things that are contrary to what I believe are America's core values. But I will say that those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them.
Tell it, Barack. Tell it, Barack. Mr. President.
I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views. And that is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got a problem. And so your original question is, are we at an inflection point? We're at an inflection point in the sense that we always have to fight for our democracy. And we have to fight for those values that have made this country the envy of the world. And I often say democracy is not self-executing. It depends on us as citizens, regardless of our political affiliations, to stand up for certain core values, because otherwise we may not have them.
Wow, a lot there to unpack.
Sir, you ain't never lied. A lot there to unpack. Can we just luxuriate in this moment? Will you guys allow me to just, and us? Man, I miss him. Now, don't get me wrong. There's someone who is in the news media. I criticized Barack Obama on his policies. I wanted him to do more of this, more of that. Why'd you do this? Why you keep trying to work with Republicans? They don't want to work with you. What do you do? But that's all well and good. Nothing ever personal. Barack Obama never called out a cable news anchor in a press conference or never called an enemy of the people. Nothing like that. He may not have liked some of the stuff that I said, we said, anybody said. He was a little sensitive. Hey, look. Everybody's got something. But can we luxuriate in this moment? I miss him. I miss a president, a real president. A real president. Not someone who's always barking like a dog. You know, and not like the one in the middle of the night that you can't sleep and you're like, could you shut that damn dog up? Your neighbor's dog just barking. Every time you hear him. You're the worst, terrible person. You're the enemy of the people. You're terrible. You have evil in your heart, and maybe we should do something about suing your news agent. I mean, it's just always... Do you know what I'm saying? As someone who is a grown ass man, America deserves better. America, look, maybe America didn't even deserve Barack. I don't know. But I love the man he has become. I've watched Barack Obama. When he was a state senator, I was a news anchor in Chicago, and he would come into our station all the time, or I would see him out on stories, or I would go to, as a local anchor, I would go, I think I've told you guys these stories before, and I would be the MC of the night in my tuxedo, and I would say, joining us now, State Senator Michelle and Barack Obama. And then later he became the Senate candidate, Barack Obama, and then he became the senator, junior senator from the great state of Illinois, Barack Obama. And he would come to the podium, and then there was this one time when he and Mayor Daley, they were at like a breakfast function or something, and I was the MC. And I said, the man who's going to be our next president or something. And Barack got on the stage, and they pulled me. And then after the thing, he did his speech. And then after the thing, we were all standing on the stage to take pictures. And he leaned over and he said, do you think the mayor wants to hear that shit? It's like, I was like, all right, Barack. All right. I feel you. Anyways, so that is our forever president acting like a president. Now, he mentioned political ideology and who's the most extremist. Now, I'm going to show you. This is what I'm going to show you, because I had these because I kept wanting to put them up, and I'll show them to you later. I'll show you. I have some little stuff here that I want to show. I have some visual aids. Remind me to show you these visual aids, and I'll tell you why I have these visual aids, and then you'll get it. But he mentioned, all of that stuff about ideology. We know it comes from the right, for the most part. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to the left. It is bipartisan, but there is no comparison about who's responsible for political violence in this country. It is the right wing of the. It is right-wing Republican political violence. Now, having said that, and you listen to the great orator, someone who's, as I said, command of the English language, and you sit there and you listen to Barack Obama and you're captivated and you want to hear more from him because he's speaking facts. Not only is he speaking facts, he's doing it intelligently in a way that calms you down and says, oh, we're going to be all right. And now you have the current Speaker of the House and the current President of the United States. Juxtaposition to Barack Obama. Roll it.
Leaders cannot call their political opponents Nazis and fascists and enemies of the state because they disagree with their policy priorities. I mean, this is something we should have learned in grade school.
Ready for the
We
bow
have
to
the
come
enemy
out. There it is.
outside, which would be the very standard countries, and we have the enemy from within. We have some very sick people from within. It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists. But, we do have an enemy from within. We have some very bad people, and those people are also very dangerous. They would like to take down our country. They'd like to have our country be a nice communist country or a fascist in any way they can. And we have to be careful of that. It's the enemy from within, all the scum that we have to deal with that hate our country. That's a bigger enemy than China and Russia. But the enemy from within is a very sick group of people.
This type of language spurs on depraved people, deranged people who take that as a cue.
It's an assault on your ears, and not only that, on your senses. Do you know your words are the language of your heart? Sometimes people don't realize that when they're speaking, they're confessing who they are, what their priorities are, what they think about. And they project what's in their heart onto other people. Can I get a witness? The doors of the church, as my pastor used to say in Louisiana, wrong. The doors of the church is open. Anybody want to join the church? So, I believe that, do you think that Donald Trump is confessing what's in his heart, the enemy from within? sick, vile people? Is he telling on himself? I've had so much therapy. I start to talk and I start to analyze, and my therapist say, you should be a therapist because you've just therapified yourself. It's not that hard to figure out with Donald Trump and with this administration. And what the attraction is. The attraction is nothing positive, nothing hopeful, except for owning people, owning the libs, and blaming people for taking our jobs and changing the America and the fabric of our culture. And you're taking our culture and our heritage away. It's all about something that is not hopeful or positive. And then there's Kash Patel. I see you guys. I know when you're in here and you're like, can we get back to Epstein? Well, here's the thing. They tore his ass up over Epstein today on the Hill. The senators did. And you're going to hear about it right after this word from our sponsors. 1 minute and we're back. Support for today's show comes from Shopify, the commerce platform that helps turn your what ifs into why nots. Now, when we started this show, it was just a dream and it was on paper, but Shopify helped turn that dream into a reality. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and 10% of all US e-commerce. You don't have to be a tech genius. They have helpful, ready-to-go website templates, AI tools to help write product descriptions, create discount codes, and even run email campaigns to find customers. And when that first sale comes in, oh, you're gonna hear it. That ka-ching. And believe me, that sound never gets old. So whether it is a side hustle or your next big thing, give it your best shot with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon, and start turning those ideas into action. Ka-ching. Thank you to our sponsors. Okay, so listen, we're going to get to the Epstein of it all. Epstein. I'm telling you, it's I don't care how much they try to change the narrative. When, the Charlie Kirk story fades from the headlines, and it will, as all stories do, we're going back. And the Trump folks are going to have to deal with Epstein. Everyone is going to go back to Epstein. And that is just not people who they deem to be on the left. It is Donald Trump's own supporters and people who are in the manosphere. It's all going back to Epstein. That's what they talked about today, a lot on the Hill. But before we get to the Epstein of it all, I need to talk to you guys about Kash Patel's qualifications or lack thereof to be in the position that he's in now. Their definition, not the real definition of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, their definition, he's a DEI hire. Now, this moment is shocking. I want you guys to sit and listen. You guys remember, you remember Dylan Roof, right? You remember the church and Mother Emanuel, and you guys remember that, right? I just want to make sure that you guys remember this stuff. You guys know? Okay. So this is a question to Kash Patel today. Now, remember, he's the head of the FBI. He's the guy that is in charge of hate crimes, domestic violence, all of this, okay? I want you to sit back and listen, just listen. He told on himself. Here it is.
So Dylan Roof, who followed white supremacist propaganda, murdered 9 black parishioners in Charleston in 2015. Do you deny this?
I'm sorry. Dylan Ruth?
Roof,
can you give me some more information?
You're head of the FBI, you probably know this. If you don't know, that's fine.
If you can give me a reminder, I've got a lot in front of me.
It was national news.
Oh my effing goodness. This man is head of the FBI, Dylan Ruth. Who? What? She told him in the beginning that what he did in Charleston, 9 people in the church, she said it. And then he goes, who? What? 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 Can you imagine? if that was, if that was one of those people who don't have brain processing power. Who doesn't have the brain processing power now? Are you kidding me? And this is the guy who, and this is, they said, well, it's going to be based on meritocracy. We're going to hire people based on meritocracy. And here he doesn't know one of the biggest modern tragedies, domestic terror, gun violence in modern history. It's not even that old. This is how you know that it's bullshit. All of it is bullshit. He doesn't know who Dylan Roof is after she explained to him. But yet it's the black women that don't have the brain processing power, who are stealing jobs from qualified white men. We're in a world of trouble. Jasmine Crockett got him good, though. Here it is.
Oh man, there has been so much today, and I truly don't know where to start. So I'm just going to make sure that we start off with a few facts. So a couple of facts that we need to make clear for everyone is that, number one, Director Christopher Wray, when he was appointed to be the head of the FBI, was appointed by Donald Trump. Now, I will agree that I definitely take issue with a number of decisions that Donald Trump makes, especially when it comes to the people that he decides to appoint to very important positions, including this one, because I did have to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. But when I say that you are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI, that is real, because you are the only one that never even served with the FBI prior to joining. Yet we are supposed to believe that
That's
you are
false.
the greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't ask you a question. Now, what I want to go
false.
through is to talk about why you are a failure and why, honestly, we just need to tell you bye-bye. I know.
Oh my gosh, that was, that's like my mom. Clean your room, but that wasn't a question. That was someone with some bad brain processing power owning Cash Patel. Jasmine Crockett, I did not ask you a question. Wow. That is amazing. Okay, to the Epstein of it all. You guys asked what happened with Epstein? Then let's talk about Epstein. Where shall we start? Why don't we start let's start with Jared Moskowitz is where I want to start. Because he talks about the Epstein file, but he's also talking about, I believe in this clip, he's discussing right-wing versus left-wing extremism. I believe that's what it is. Here it is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin, I want to caution my colleagues on, one-sided violence in this country. We just heard that there were no riots on the right. We're literally sitting in the building where there was a giant riot by supporters of the president, the right. We also heard that only leftists, have said that Trump is a Nazi. In 2016, the current vice president of the United States said, Trump is either a cynical asshole or he's America's Hitler. And so this is the problem. I don't want to have to say this garbage, but you want me to sit here and get painted with one brush, the whole left. No, there are extremes on the left, and there are extremes on the right. And we collectively should tackle that. But to come here and just look at us and say we all support what's going on in the extremes is why we can't solve anything in this building.
Jared Moskowitz. I haven't forgotten my visual aids. Remind me, because it's going to show you just what Jared Moskowitz said right there, but I'm going to enhance it for you. Here's Jared Moskowitz again on Epstein.
The president you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his. Okay? President says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring? Will you be opening that investigation into that?
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, I look forward to that investigation.
That ain't ever going to happen. If it does, okay, let's see where it goes. Yeah, I'll do it. You remember OJ said he was searching for the real killer, right? So now they're going to search for the real signer? Is that what they're going to do now? Please. This is all a farce. I hate to be cynical. I hate to be petty. Well, not really. I hate cynical. I hate petty. Sometimes you just need it. Sometimes you have to speak for others when you're in this position. And I am channeling how you feel out there. This is all a farce. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Senator Pramila Jayapal is really going at it with him over protecting rich men, which is what's happening, allegedly. Here it is.
Not Obama.
President Trump
no one
called
else.
the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
The gentlelady's time has expired. I gave her the additional 45 seconds she requested. The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for his 5 minutes.
If you would meet with the women who were sexually abused and raped and groomed at the ages of 14 and 16 years old. Are you going to cover up? Are you going to continue to cover up for the rich and powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell too, Mr. Chairman, but I don't want to yell above this.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New Jersey. I appreciate the gentlelady yielding back.
Mr. Patel?
Go ahead.
Will you allow them to testify to you, Mr. Patel?
Mr. Patel, thank you for being here.
He did not answer. I guess the person running this particular hearing, the Republican senator, did not want to hear that. But she got him. She got her words, and people try to talk over you all the time. You know, that happened to me today. I'm going to tell you about it a little bit later on in the show. We go now from Senator Pramila Jayapal to, Congress. I'm sorry. I'm getting my days wrong. It was Congress today, Senate yesterday. Congresswoman Jayapal to Congressman Eric Swalwell. Here it is.
Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Attorney's file.
It's a simple question. Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes
if you're
or
gonna mock
no,
me?
Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No? A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F?
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your
Director,
constituency
did
by
you tell the
focusing on
Attorney
reducing
General
violent
that Donald
crime in this
Trump's
country and the number of pedophiles that are
Director,
illegally
reclaiming
harbored
my time,
in your
Director.
sanctuary cities in
Director,
California?
reclaiming
I'll
my
work with
time.
you on that. Do
Regular
you
order,
want to
Mr.
work with
Chairman.
us on that?
Director,
I
reclaiming my
belongs to the
time.
gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The question has been asked and answered.
You've not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt.
ABC, TV. That is, the thing is, yesterday in the Senate, watching Kash Patel just attack those people, attacking those, especially the women senators. It was, I ran into a senator in the hall today. I won't tell you who it was, but we ran into him and he talked to him, and he was like, "I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy," and just how disrespectful it is, not only of the institution, but especially of the men and women who serve in this institution. We've never experienced anything like this. Amazing. Eric Swalwell again.
You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at
we have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can
so-
characterize the numbers however you want it.
Claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not.
leads me-
It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political
And that
innuendo
includes
so
protecting
you can go out to the
sexual assault
sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising
reclaiming my
article.
time,
And
Director.
keep going, reclaiming your time, because the
Director,
people of California
If
are
Trump-
being
if the
underserved by
president-
your
The
representation.
president is not implicated. Why not release everything that involves
We
him?
have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding
Also
child
Mr. Massey's-
pedophiles is disgusting.
interest.
Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San
Reclaiming
Francisco
my time,
need it.
Director. Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Yes. This man is dancing and dancing and not answering any questions. Eric Swalwell got to him. Sometimes you just have to tell people, I've answered your question and just, I did that today. I answered. I'm not changing. I've said what I said. I'm not changing it. Eric Swalwell again on the Epstein files.
Director, did Donald Trump ever say to you, just find and release the entire truth? Don't worry if I'm in it.
The instructions from the administration were to release all credible information, and we have done that.
Did Donald Trump ever provide information about Jeffrey Epstein as an informant?
Donald Trump has not been, and I can only speak for the FBI, an informant of the FBI.
So, Director, you've played this cute shell game where you say you can't release everything because the court has said that it legally is not allowed to be released, but the court calls bullshit. Judge Richard Berman said that when you went to the court, quote, information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. So let's move on, Director. You wrote a book called Government Gangsters. You identified 20 individuals in that book. You put me on that list at the top of the list. Thank you. My children find it flattering. 20 of those individuals have been investigated or have had adverse actions. Director, considering that you have identified these people as, quote, government gangsters, will you recuse yourself from making any investigation decisions about these individuals?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done so
the
because
question
they failed
again.
to meet the muster and
Director,
their constitutional
I will
obligation.
work on the audio-visual capabilities.
I'm
of
going to
the
borrow
service.
your
I don't think you can hear me.
terminology and call
I'm
bullshit
reclaiming my
on your
time.
entire career in
I'm
Congress.
reclaiming my
It
time,
has been
Director.
a disgrace to the American
Director, I'm
people.
reclaiming my
You
time.
can reclaim your
Will you
time all you
recuse
want.
yourself?
Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak this way?
Mr.
Chairman, would you give
recuse yourself,
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you
Mr.
admonish the
Chairman,
witness not to insult members?
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, just
committee will remember.
Quick point of order. Could the gentleman be extended an additional 20 seconds to complete his thoughts since the witness decided to interrupt him continuously?
And the witness will be able to respond if he wants. We'll make sure
Thank
he has
you.
time to do that.
My question
We'll
is,
continue.
will you, Director, recuse yourself, yes or no, from investigating or making decisions about the 60 individuals, including myself, that you identified as government gangsters? Yes or no?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The witness may respond if he would like.
And the answer was no, as I heard.
Correct.
Okay. The gentleman from Wisconsin, the gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized for 5.
Oh my God, and I should have known it was Jim Jordan. Well. Girls are fighting. So that was, but that's not all of it. That's not the end of it. Now, I want you guys to remember Kash Patel saying, you're obsessed with this. You're highly focused on this. You're obsessed. You're highly focused. It's like you're like rabid dogs. I'm paraphrasing here. That's what he's saying about the Democrats here. This is Kash Patel before he was a DEI hire of Donald Trump.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
These people are full of such bullshit. Come on, Kash Patel. Do you know better? There's more where this came from, everyone. 1 minute, a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Mint Mobile. I have to be honest with you. I used to be the king of procrastinating. I kept saying, I'll find a cheaper phone plan someday. And then we saw here at the Don Lemon Show, we saw the Mint Mobile deal, 50% off unlimited premium wireless. And finally, that did it for me. Here's the thing. Mint Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data for just $15 a month on the same 5G network as the big carriers. I didn't have to, you won't have to get a new phone or a new number or contacts or any of that. Bring all of it with you. The switch is easy, the service is crystal clear, and my team has been trying it. They've had 0 issues so far. So 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month, right? That is a no-brainer, but hurry, this deal ends September 22nd. So go to mintmobile.com/DonLemon. That's mintmobile.com/DonLemon. Stop procrastinating and start saving with Mint Mobile today. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Very much to all of our sponsors. Now here's Ted Lieu versus Kash Patel on the Epstein files.
Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence, correct?
I believe that happened in 2018. I think there was 2 locations, sir.
It's 2019, and in that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I don't have the catalog of evidence in front of me.
In that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I'll accept your representation.
Okay. And in that safe, the FBI found topless and lewd photographs of girls, correct?
Again, sir, I'll accept your representation. I don't know.
Thank you. It was all over the media at the time. There's a New York Times article that says Jeffrey Epstein is indicted on sex charges as discovery of nude photos is disclosed, dated July 8th, 2019. And the Times reports a trove of lewd photographs of girls was discovered in a safe inside financier Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Author Michael Wolff has conducted numerous interviews of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play for you a video clip of what Michael Wolff said Epstein told him was in the safe and what he showed the author was in this safe. So let's please play that clip now.
Elected. I was sitting talking to Epstein and he said, wait a minute, I gotta show you something. And then he went into his safe and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think. And he kind of spread them out like playing cards. And it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing.
So Director Patel, I'm going to ask you a very broad and general question. As you know, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. There are, of course, photos showing Donald Trump together with Epstein, correct?
I don't have the entirety of the photographs, but I think they've been photographed in public together.
All right. Are there any photos showing Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age?
No.
How do you know that?
Because that information would have been brought to light by multiple administrations and FBI investigators over the course of the last 20 years.
Well, you know what? That's just not true, because no one knew about the creepy birthday message that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein until the Wall Street Journal disclosed it, and then all of a sudden, the Epstein estate provides it to Congress.
Well,
so certainly, you weren't there at the search. You don't know what Epstein may or may not have done with those photographs even prior to the search. Maybe someone has it. Maybe the Epstein estate has it.
You raised.
It's funny how quick he answered that question, no. But then the other questions he's like way more vague on. They are quick on the defense of Donald Trump for some reason, but they won't release those damn files. Ted Lieu again.
Epstein's client list. You confirmed that exists. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed earlier this year that it exists. I just want to ask you a simple question. Is Prince Andrew on Epstein's client list?
The material related to Prince Andrew has been made public.
Is Prince Andrew on the client list?
We have released the index of names that were in Jeffrey Epstein's.
Is Donald Trump on Epstein's client list?
The index has been released, and the index will speak for itself.
So I'm just going to say, America is a huge red flag. The FBI director could not answer whether Donald Trump was on Epstein's
Gentleman's time has expired.
I
now recognizes the gentleman from Virginia.
Okay, I was making the same observation as someone who is watching the program, who just sent me a text saying, Credible is doing all the heavy lifting. They have decided anything about Trump in the files is incredible. That's what I noticed that. That was Monique Presley. She said it's the oldest trick in the book, as she is texting me right now. If it's Donald Trump in there, it's not credible, or it didn't happen. So look, it's not credible, and nothing was credible in there. So that's why we had to redact his name. Oh my gosh, it's outrageous. Come on, guys. You know when people are pulling the wool over your eyes. You know when people are lying to you when they're not being upfront with you. You know that. And that's what's happening right now. So here's what I need to do, everyone. I have to update you on this story. And this is look, it's long. I want to run this piece because people have been asking me about it, and I've been trying to get updates on it. It doesn't seem to be any updates other than the parents want an independent autopsy and an independent investigation. Where am I going right now? I'm talking about, there were 2 hanging deaths reported in Mississippi. One was in Vicksburg. The other one was on the campus of Delta State University. This one specifically is about that I want to talk about is DeMar Travion Trey Reed, 21, a black student at Delta State University, found hanging from a tree at the university's campus. In an official statement from the Bolivar County Coroner's Office, Coroner Randolph Seal said that Reed was not suffering from any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with assault. Said the incident took place sometime on Sunday. He also stated that at this time, there is no evidence to suggest that Reed had been physically attacked before his death. He said that Randolph is not saying if it was a homicide or suicide, just that it's an ongoing death investigation. His remains have been sent to Mississippi State Crime Lab for an autopsy, and more information will be provided once the autopsy results are finalized. Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson said Tuesday that he is calling on a federal investigation into the death of Reed. The FBI has the tools and the experience necessary to conduct a thorough and unbiased inquiry, and time is of the essence, Thompson wrote on social media. He also said that Mississippi's history of racial violence against African Americans cannot be ignored. Also key on Tuesday, Ben Crump announced that he had been retained by the family of Reed. Trey Reed was a young man full of promise and warmth, deeply loved and respected by all those who knew him. His family and the campus community deserve a full, independent investigation to uncover the truth about what happened, Crump said in a statement. We cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. Here's a report from the region.
We are continuing to follow a developing story out of Bolivar County that many of you are talking about. Authorities releasing new details after the death of a Delta State student found hanging from a tree on campus. This discovery was made just after 7:30 yesterday morning. He is identified as 21-year-old Demartravian Reed from Grenada. Family and friends call him Trey. His body has been sent to the state crime lab for an autopsy. 3 on your sides. Quentin Smith joins us now with those new details. Quentin, do we know if foul play was involved?
Reporting in at this time, the Bolivar County coroner does not believe foul play is involved. He says he's not ruling this a homicide nor suicide. He says it's a death investigation. However, Reed's family announced today they will have an independent autopsy done on him. This as family, state, and university leaders are asking for answers and transparency. After investigating the death of Delta State University student Demartravian Reed, also known as Trey, the Bolivar County coroner says his office can confirm that the deceased did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. The coroner goes on to say there's no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death. Despite these findings, some say there are still more questions than answers surrounding Reed's death.
Because it's not every day you wake up in 2025 and there's a man hanging from a tree on a college campus.
State Representative Kabir Kareem admits he was disturbed when he first heard the news about what happened at Delta State. That's why he and the Legislative Black Caucus are asking investigators to do a thorough investigation to get to the bottom of what happened.
With the climate that we are in America, you can wake up and basically you might hear anything. And that's why we can't take this particular situation lightly. But we don't want to embellish or overstate. We want to make sure that we're watching, and we want the public to know that we're watching.
One of our students is gone, and we will never forget that.
Dr. Daniel Enos is the president of Delta State. Although he and the university are saddened by this tragedy, he maintains the campus is a safe place for all students and says the university is working with police in this ongoing investigation.
In the middle of all this, yes, we continue to cooperate with investigators. We continue to make sure that all the information necessary is given to authorities, and we continue to hope for answers.
Reed's family announced today that civil rights attorney Ben Crump has been retained in this case. Crump released a statement saying, "We cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. I stand with this family, and I will lead a team of civil rights leaders and organizations in pursuing transparency and answers." Now, another man was also found hanging from a tree yesterday, this one in Vicksburg. He has been identified as Corey Zakatis. He's a white man from Brandon. He was found hanging in the woods near the Ameristar Casino. His body has been sent to the crime lab for an autopsy, which will then determine the exact cause and manner of his death. I do want to point out, officials say these cases are not connected. Delta State will host a press conference tomorrow morning, and we will be there, and we'll bring you the latest details as they unfold both on air and online at WLBT.com. Quentin Smith, 3 on your side.
That was a very thorough report, Quentin Smith. Thank you. Quentin Smith helping us out here at the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon Channel with where Demartravian Trey Reed, 21-year-old, found hanging from a tree. What is going on with these hangings in Mississippi? What on earth is that? While we were running the story, Quentin's story, I called Ben Crump and I texted him. So he must be in the middle of something because he usually picks up the call. And so I'm going to try to get him on to discuss this as well, to see what is going on. And this is bizarre. Now, let me tell you today. Okay, so I want you guys to see this. Can you guys put this this tweet up? This is a tweet from Piers Morgan. Okay, so I just want to tell you about this because I just think it's important. So this was a tweet from Piers Morgan. And so this was me in the studio on the go. It didn't go well. I think I looked pretty sexy right there. I didn't realize that this was good. It didn't go well. No, Piers, it did not go well for you. Piers Morgan embarrassed himself today. And I mean, it's good. You'll see it. It's going to run. It just, it is what it is. It's probably going to go viral. People will be like, oh my gosh, whatever. So I just want to show you this just so you guys know what happened. So the backstory is, as I said, I know Piers Morgan. I worked with him. He did the Piers Morgan show after Larry King left. And then it didn't go well. The ratings were going down. I guess they didn't like what he was saying about, for some reason, people in America didn't like what he was saying about gun violence in America because he was, he was pro gun control when he was at CNN. I don't know if you guys remember that. And he did all kinds of stuff where he would just talk about it. I don't understand it. And people didn't like him telling Americans what they should do with their guns. Coming from another American, it's okay. But they didn't like it. And so they let him go because the ratings were not good. And then they put me with his team in this spot. And then, we had a stellar, I think that was like 2015 or something. And it was like stellar 2015, Don Lemon. And there was an article like Don Lemon and Megyn Kelly have stellar, whatever, 2015s, because that's when they put me in the Piers Morgan slot and the ratings went up and people loved it. Okay. So I had his team, all of his team, his writers, his producers, I inherited them. And his executive producer, who became my executive producer and then became the executive producer of this particular show right now. So I know Piers Morgan fairly well. I was hoping that all the shit that his team, his staff told me about him was not true. I was like, I was hoping that it wasn't true. That he really had very little connection with the editorial of the show, that he just kind of showed up at the last minute and didn't really do, the homework. I was hoping that, and other things. I was hoping that it wasn't true, but it turns out it was. So Piers Morgan, this used to be my editorial producer or booker, okay? So this was my booker on the Piers Morgan show. Her name is Lisa. I'll just say that. So she sent me a text yesterday, if you can put it up. She said, Hi, Don, it's Lisa. Hope you are doing well. Wanted to see about you coming on with Piers to talk about Charlie Kirk and free speech, either tomorrow or Monday. Piers typically tapes from 11 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern, so it would be good to know avail windows within that. And then I said, hi, I don't do panels, but thank you so much. It was running around yesterday, okay? And then she said, if I can sort something different, solo, and join panel, would that be? And then for whatever. And then my phone didn't update yesterday. So I sent her a thing because I know her. I didn't want to leave her hanging because I like her. And she used to be the booker on my show for years. And I said, did you respond to my text or to my message or something? What I said, respond to me because I think it disappeared. She said, yes, I did. If I can sort something out different, solo and join panel, would that work? And then I sent a text to my producer here at the Don Lemon Show, and I said, Nikki can meet Lisa. You guys can work out if there's a point in my schedule tomorrow where I can do the Piers Morgan Show. And then she said, okay. And then she said, could you do 12:30 tomorrow, one-on-one, Kirk and digital culture? I said, okay. They want to talk Charlie Kirk and digital culture. That is really important right now. And this is the note to my producer that says, also, Nikki said, could you send over a list of topics you would like to discuss? Charlie Kirk and digital culture. And so then I got on today and he introduced and he said that I was insensitive about people. First of all, he ran a clip out of context and then lied about what I said. Or perhaps if my team was right about him, he had no idea what the full clip was about, and someone told him, they saw the clip online, ran the clip, and then someone told him, and so that's what he believed the clip was without doing his homework. Okay. And so I said, well, that was a way to introduce me, but you ran an out of context clip about something that I said. You should probably get the full story. So that's how the interview started. And then he goes into transgender athletes at the Olympics. And I said, Piers, I'm not here to debate you on transgender athletes. That's not what I'm here to discuss with you. Those are not the subjects or the topics that I agreed to come on your show for. I feel like I'm being ambushed. What are you, an ambush? Aren't you a journalist? I'm like, Piers, are you looking for a moment? Because if you have a moment, then okay, good. I've given you a moment. So can you move on and can we be adults? What do you mean assaulted me? And then he called me a name. And then I told him, Piers, I'm not going to devolve. I said, I'm above that. I don't like ad hominem attacks, and I don't like personal attacks on people. So I'm not going to respond in kind with a personal attack on you. Can we just be adults here? And can we talk about the subjects that I came on to talk about? And then he ran a clip of CNN about Nikki Haley, and he asked me about it. And I said, and then he wouldn't let me answer. I said, Piers, this is not what I came on your show to discuss. Why are you, that was 3 years ago almost. The news is new. It's not old. It's news. Check out my statement, what I said about that. And then I said, but since we're here, I'll respond to it. But then can we move on to discuss the things? Still trying to be a professional. And then he keeps trying to antagonize me. I'm like, Piers, I said what I said. Can you just be an adult? Anyway, and then it went on. Also, I wanted to talk to him as well when he said Charlie Kirk and free speech and whatever. And I wanted to, because I thought that perhaps he would run a clip and then I can explain to people why I was saying what I was saying regarding who's responsible for the right-wing ideology. So I have these made because I just want to tell people when they see this. You see this? This is the right wing right here. This is Time Magazine, okay? That's from the Cato Institute. This is from the prosecution project right here. That's right-wing ideology. I like to have facts. This one is another one that's presented by, I forget which organization. I think this is the same organization, the Prosecution Project. See this red? This is where right-wing political violence in America occurs. And look at that. Okay, so that is, I think this is, the first one is left-wing incidents. You don't see hardly any there. This is Islamist, and this is right-wing. So I can't plan to come on to talk, like have a real conversation with him. And this is one is from the Anti-Defamation League. 75% of political violence in this country, right-wing extremists. So anyway, it devolved, and I'm sure you're going to see it run. I don't feel a certain kind of way about it, but I think it's important to explain to people these things. And I think it's important to have integrity. And then he said, well, what if someone came on your show, he was like just digging. And I was like, Piers, I'm not. And then he said, I sounded bitter. I'm like, I'm not bitter. I have never been, let me just tell you this. I have never been happier in my life. I am free. I am happy. I am successful. I have a viable business that is working, that helps, that still is affording me the lifestyle that I have. I am married and happy with a beautiful family and 3 dogs. There is nothing bitter. I could not be happier. I don't remember the last time I was happier. I think I could be happier if I didn't just have a tragic death in my family, which is my sister. That would make me happier. But other than that, there's nothing that I want, Piers. So fuck off with that. So then he said, if I was on your show and someone answered like you, wouldn't you want to? I said, no, I would just move on. And I just kept telling him to move on. And he wouldn't. But, you know, when someone shows you who they are, because I saw the way that he treated Joy Reid. And I said, you know what? I know Piers personally. He won't do that. I also called my boss and Piers' old boss, and I said to them, I said, hey, won't say his name. Piers asked me to be on his show. We just saw him recently in a restaurant. I felt bad because he wanted me to come on his show when I released my book, but he wanted me to be a part of a panel discussion. And I just don't do panels because I don't like fighting with a bunch of people, especially ignorant people who are just going to say crazy shit because they want their moment and they want their clicks, as Piers wanted for his show. And so I said, you know what, Piers, I'm not going to come on your show. And then I bumped into him in a restaurant with both of our old boss, the same, both of us worked at CNN. I was having dinner with my boss. Piers was having dinner at the table in the back. He came up and came over to the table. And then, I said, hey, Piers, how are you? I said, sorry, I didn't come on your show for the book. I just don't do panels, nothing personal. And he goes, no big deal, man. No big deal, mate, or whatever. It was good. We'll do it. I was like, okay, fine. And so then this time when he asked, I was like, well, I know Lisa and I know Piers, and this is not going to be, hopefully it won't be this craziness. We'll go on and we'll have a productive conversation about about what the conversation should be about as it relates to Charlie Kirk, and that is stopping these things from happening again. But instead, Piers took the gutter and the low road. And so when somebody shows you who they are, you better believe it. Piers acted like a low-down snake in the grass, lower than the gutter, desperate for clicks and attention. I was embarrassed for you, Piers. I was stunned and embarrassed. There is no way that I would ever invite anyone on this show and treat them the way that you treated me. Nancy Mace is a volatile person. Nancy Mace, and I treated her with the utmost respect and dignity when I interviewed her yesterday. If she came on this show, I would not treat her that way. If Marjorie Taylor Greene came on the show, I would not treat her that way. When Donald Trump did come on my shows and allowed me to interview him, accepted interviews, I did not even treat him that way. It was embarrassing. It's obvious he had no editorial knowledge of his own show, that he just sat there and he wanted clicks and he wanted to try to prove himself, and he was performing for an audience of one. And he asked me about clickbait, about a thumbnail on the show. And I wondered if Piers Morgan ever sat down and watched his own show or read the descriptions of his own shows on YouTube, because obviously he hadn't. It is the biggest clickbaity show on the internet. But me being the nice guy, I said, you know what? I'll give him a chance. So there you go. And Piers Morgan, again, I hope you're happy, because something's up. You were asking me about leaving CNN. I know why you left CNN. I also know why you left the other morning show and why you got fired from the other thing. But if you came on my show, I would not dare question you about that, especially if that had nothing to do with what we were talking about and we had gone over topics with your producer. I don't believe in sandbagging anyone or gotcha interviews. I don't believe in ambush interviews, because I'm a real journalist and you're not. You're a hack. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, you can check it out on donlemon.com. Anything you need to know. If you want to know about the YouTube show, that is our main show, click on the watch button right at the top. There it is, the Don Lemon Show. We are live, and you can subscribe and join. So back out of that, if you want to know our merch, I did not want to do merch, as you guys, I fought it, but you guys want it and you love it and it's selling like crazy, especially those fans. Click on merch and you can find anything you want about the Don Lemon Show. Old people be knowing. I should have known better, right, y'all, than going on the Piers Morgan show. And so here's what I say when people ask me about, oh my gosh, someone is talking about you. Someone on Fox News is talking about you. Someone on the internet is talking about you. And I'm sure it'll happen with Piers Morgan. Do you guys want to know what my response in advance to it before anybody calls me or anything? Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Okay? So look, you can be informed without being inundated. I'm so glad that you guys are here and that you're supporting independent media. We're going to be here and continue to cover stuff that's happening on the street in the nation's capital with our lawmakers, the folks who are deciding your future. And so make sure you like and subscribe to The Don Lemon Show on YouTube and follow us on social. And thank you for all of the platforms that you are watching us on. Make sure you follow us there as well. What else? And support independent media. Support me, support Joy, support Roland, support Mark Lamont Hill, support Jamel Hill, support Katie Fang, support Jim Acosta, support independent media, especially those who are trying to inject some facts and realness into the zeitgeist. Okay? And so until I see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for Hot Topics, like and subscribe and turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.